Welcome everybody to The Lost Element. My name is Deecent, I'm an Austrian rapper, but first and foremost I'm a hip hop head, and this is just a decent review of Disposable Arts by Masta, released in October 2001, his second studio album and considered a classic in underground hip hop. It was meant to be his last album because of his struggles with the music business, but fortunately it became an underground classic and gave him the motivation to go on in his career. We picked this album as our album of the week, so let's talk about it. This album is full of storytelling and metaphors. In fact, the whole album from front to back is one story. We follow the story of a young man coming back to Brooklyn after serving time in prison. While the story isn't exactly based on Master Ace's life, the main character still personates him in a few ways. It really feels like watching a movie, so let's go into track number 1. We start with one of many skits because this album has like 5 or 6 skits which keep the story going, and we begin with number 1, the release. Our main character leaves prison and has one last conversation with the guard, and the guard clearly doesn't believe that he will ever change, but our main character is motivated and he believes otherwise. And this conversation directly transitions into track number 1 called Too Long. I really like the transition because you immediately get that East Coast vibe, like a little bit dark, but the strings from Too Long still give you a little bit of hope. So you can feel the motivation from our character. And this song doesn't even need a hook. The feature fits perfectly and kind of feels like two old friends meeting after one of them was in prison and talking about changing lives and about the brutality on the streets and that they just want to go away. So it's like very motivating but also very frustrating when you hear them talk about this street life and drugs and stuff like that. It's a perfect opening for the journey you're about to experience, and it goes directly into the next song called Block Episode. Even the title sounds like another chapter in a movie. This song slows things down a little bit and focuses on the struggles of growing up in the hood even more, talking about the childhood on the streets and everyday life. I also really like the features from Punchline and Wordsworth here. They again fit brilliant for the whole concept. Another great storytelling track going into the next skit, IDA commercial. And this skit is just hilarious. It's basically an ad for the fictional Institute of Disposable Arts. And every time I hear it, it just reminds me of the ridiculous commercials from the P.T.A games. It's just really funny, and then we move on to the next track, which what I experienced is a fan favorite from this album. This is the track Don't Understand, and this track is just a banger. The hook is absolutely infectious and it just brings real energy. For me, that's a song I'm not listening to the lyrics very much, but I just like to turn the volume up. Great track. Going on to the next skit, Goodbye Lisa. This skit introduces another character called Lisa, a friend from our main character or Master Ace. He calls her and tells her about the decision that he's going to the Institute of Disposable Arts, but she doesn't really understand him. She thinks that that's a waste of time, but he already made his decision. The conversation doesn't really end on good terms, but it goes on directly into the next song, Hold You. And this song is absolutely brilliant written. At first it sounds like Master Ace is talking about relationship, but if you keep going and keep listening, you understand that he's talking about something different. He describes ups and downs, the struggles and the commitment of a relationship, but then you realize he's talking about his microphone. I absolutely love this kind of storytelling. It always brings me back to Comments I Used to Love Her, or to Master Ace later version, I Still Love Her, in which they both talk about relationships, but you find out they are talking about hip-hop. So hip-hop, or in this song the microphone, is personified as a woman, and this changes the whole perspective when you listen to the song the second time. It's almost like watching a movie with a huge twist on the end, like, I don't know, Shutter Island or Inception. And I really love this moment, so great song. The next track, Every Other Day, is the point where the album reaches another highlight for me. And this is actually the first song that makes it into my top 3 list of this album. The song goes forward, I love those drums, and I really like those type of reggae or dance hall hooks, which here is performed by Mr. Lee G. It's lines like, if you want to be a winner, keep your eyes on the prize. I just love it. It's motivation, and it just shows no matter where you come from, just keep being focused. And the energy of that message is the reason why this song has always been one of my favorites from the album. The following skit, Roommates Meet, introduces us to another character. Our main character arrives at the institute and he meets his roommate. Like every other skit on this album, it's just funny, and it's cool to see the story ongoing. At the end, the roommate asks him where Masta Ace is from, and he answered with Brooklyn. He can't believe it and asks him if it really is that dangerous in Brooklyn. And Masta Ace answers simple with, let's just say it's different. And that's the perfect transition into one of Masta Ace's greatest songs, Take a Walk. Take a Walk is not just one of Masta Ace's biggest songs, it's also my second favorite song on this album, so here, number 2 spot. I've had the chance to see Masta Ace perform live 4 times now, and every time he plays this song, it's crazy. I usually saw him perform with Marco Polo, and when this song comes on, they start with the sample. And at the beginning, you don't really know where we are going because the sample sounds different. Masta Ace keeps on hyping up the crowd, and then you suddenly realize, okay, this is going to be Take a Walk, and then kind of like everything explodes, and you know the hook with the come on, everybody screams, and I love it every time.
Come on, 4, 3, everybody, Queensbridge, South Bronx, Uptown, come on, everybody, come on.
And the song itself is brilliant storytelling. It feels like Masta Ace is taking you by the hand and takes a walk with you through Brooklyn. You kind of can see the characters he's talking about, you kind of can see the pictures he's painting with his words, and I just really love this track. The combination of that great storytelling and the experiences at the live performances are just the reasons why this song has such a special place in my heart. After this emotional highlight, we move into the next song called Something's Wrong. This features Masta Ace's longtime friends Strickland and Young C. To be honest, this isn't one of my favorite tracks on the album, but that doesn't mean it's a bad track. Young C delivers another memorable hook with the style you know from him. It immediately catches your attention. Strickland is having a dope verse, and the song fits perfectly into the story. It just isn't one of the songs I personally come back very often, but it's still a great track. Next comes another skit called The Classes. We get a better look what the Institute of Disposable Arts looks like, and instead of ordinary school subjects, students can attend classes like breakdancing, graffiti, MPC 101. It's like a school for hip-hop knowledge and culture. The skits never feel unnecessary on this album. You probably skipped them when you heard them, but they still belong to the story. And then we reach my absolute favorite moment on the entire album. Song number 13, Acknowledge. And this one goes straight to the number 1 spot. Every single time I hear those strings in the intro, I get goosebumps. Easily one of my favorite Masta Ace songs ever made. And what's funny is that this is the very first Masta Ace song I ever heard. Around 10 or 12 years ago, I watched a video on Facebook where somebody ranked his top diss tracks of all time. Of course, there were classics like Hit 'Em Up, No Vaseline, Ether. But someone in the comments wrote, what about Masta Ace Acknowledge? At this point, I barely knew who Masta Ace is, so I checked the song out and I loved it. The beat, the delivery, I had no idea who he's dissing, but I just love everything about this track. It's definitely in my top 10 diss tracks of all time. And one detail I always found interesting is that Masta Ace mentions 50 Cent in the line, and by the way, give 50 Cent his flow back. What's interesting is that this album came out in 2001, 2 years before 50 Cent came with Get Rich or Die Trying and In the Club and became a global superstar. Of course, they are both from New York, so maybe they knew each other's music, but I just find it interesting to see how the underground scene knew each other or knew each other's music. Just a little detail I always like about this song. And from this highlight we go on to the next song, number 14, Enuff. Another song that stayed in my personal rotation for years. The overall atmosphere is a little bit brighter than in the previous tracks. The hook is melodic, almost uplifting, and it just gives positive vibes. Lyrically, the song is about things I think nearly everybody can relate to. No matter what you do, sometimes it feels like it's never enough. You work harder, people expect more. You achieve something, somebody asks for the next step. I think it's a struggle everybody experiences sooner or later, and that's exactly why I like this track. It's simple, it's melodic, and it's incredibly relatable. The next skit, Watching the Game, is basically a conversation between our main character and a friend of him back in Brooklyn over the cell phone. They catch up, talk about life, talk about school, talk about life in Brooklyn, and just talk with each other a little bit before Master Ace, or our main character, tells his friend he wants to keep on watching the game. This transitions into the next song called Unfriendly Game. Another perfect example for Master Ace's creativity. Instead of simply talking about life in the streets, he talks about American football as a metaphor for it. The coaches represent drug dealers and the players represent people with the street lifestyle, and every position is kind of a metaphor. To be honest, as an Austrian, I have no clue about football. I probably don't understand every reference, but that doesn't really matter to me because just the concept is brilliant. I'm not the biggest fan of the beat or the hook, but I still come back from time to time to listen to that song just to experience that kind of storytelling again. And the creativity continues on the song Alphabet Soup. It features Blaze the Pui and is like a conversation, but they use every letter from the alphabet as a word. So the song starts like A, son, how you be. Awesome concept. It really is fun to listen to that song. It's not my favorite track. I'm not the biggest fan of the beat and the song has no hook, but still that conversation and the technique behind it is awesome. I just love the conversation between the two. Just another song that reminds me how creative and how great Master Ace is as an MC. And the next song, Dear Yvette, just slows everything a bit down again. It's a story about a female childhood friend who struggled throughout life. She responds herself through the feature from Jane Doe, and the conversation gets another emotional layer. It's one of those songs where I either can sit down and just play it in the background, or I can sit down and listen to it and listen to the story and enjoy it in both ways. It's kind of emotional, still a little bit hard, but what I love about this track is the production and the hook. As the story progresses in the songs I Like That and P.T.A, our main character just begins enjoying a successful life. That becomes obvious on both tracks, but especially on P.T.A, which stands for Planes, Trains and Automobiles. Personally, I'm not the biggest fan of bragging and boasting tracks, but it just fits the story here. He did something for himself, he gained success, nobody believed in him, so now he can show it. So the song I Like That is especially about girls and sex. P.T.A is more about material things. P.T.A features West Coast legends King T and J. Rowe from the Alcoholics. That collaboration honestly surprised me the first time I heard it. I wasn't expecting King T on this album, and I wasn't expecting this King T kind of beat. The song starts with a bass line which immediately rings West Coast. So it makes perfect sense that King T and J. Rowe are on this track. Not my favorite track, but still I listen to it sometimes, and when I listen to it, I like it, and it's just West Coast flair. As we move towards to the end, we arrive at track 21 called Type I Hate. I kinda think this song is a perfect example for self-reflection. It might sound like a track where Masta Ace just talks about people he doesn't like, but I think it's a little bit deeper than that. He's reflecting on the people who never believed in him, who talked down on him, who brought negativity in his life, but I think he sounds not that angry, he sounds peaceful about it. Like he closed the chapter with these people and has now fully accepted to move on. The hook performed by LeShare adds a beautiful emotional contrast to the whole track, and Ra Digger's part also fits perfect. She delivers an incredibly honest verse about fake friends and people who only show up when they need something from you. Together they paint the perfect picture of maturity, and that's exactly what makes this song so powerful. Track number 22, Dear Diary, is one of the songs that has grown on me over the years the most. When I heard the album the first time, I liked the song, but I think I truly didn't understand that song. The song feels like a conversation with your inner self, or maybe with your self-doubt. Masta Ace questions if he really wants to continue making music. He's talking about getting older, about how difficult the music business is, and if all what he does is really worth it. And as someone who has been making music myself for many years, this song hits completely different today. I think everyone who makes music or wants to be successful in other things questions himself from time to time. Is it worth? Am I doing the right thing? And that's why the song has become a highlight for me on this album. Not because it's the best beat or the best delivery, but it's extremely relatable, and that's what I love about it. It's incredibly honest, and it's definitely in my top 5 on this album. It's very close on my top 3, but let's keep it top 5. The final skit, Last Rites, feels like a closing scene from a movie. Our main character, Masta Ace, successfully finished the Institute of Disposable Art. He now has his own company, he is successful, he has a career, he built his own life. Meanwhile, many of the other people we met throughout the story never escape the lives they are living. It's not presented in a disrespectful way, but it's like just the consequences when you don't believe in yourself and you don't change anything. It's a beautiful message to end such a personal story. Before the album reaches its final song, Masta Ace thanks all the artists who inspired him, like Eric B. and Rakim, Ice-T, and so on. It's a small moment, but I think it's a great moment to show the people respect who helped you shape your career. And the album closes with the song No Regrets, and honestly, I think there is not a more perfect way to close this album. Masta Ace looks back at the sacrifices he made, at the struggles, the mistakes, the victories, and despite everything, he says he wouldn't change a thing. He has no regrets, he thanks the people who stood beside him, everyone who believed in him, and that's exactly how this album ends. The story began with a man leaving prison, and the story ends with a successful man and a lot of gratitude. And I think that's a perfect, beautiful story. So what's my final verdict to Disposable Arts? Masta Ace is probably the only MC who went from I don't know this guy to he's one of my top 15 all-time favorite MCs within 2 songs. I absolutely love his storytelling, his concepts, his delivery, and to me he's one of the greatest MCs from Brooklyn of all time. It's kind of sad that he never really got that recognition, but maybe with this review he gets a little more of it. I actually had the honor of meeting Masta Ace 3 times, and one time I bought a Long Hot Summer vinyl directly from him, and then we talked a little bit. I told him that A Long Hot Summer is my favorite Masta Ace album and asked him what he says his best or his favorite album is. Without even thinking for a second, he answered Disposable Arts. And honestly, I completely understand why. Personally, I still prefer A Long Hot Summer a little bit, but Disposable Arts is such an honest and personal album that you have to expect this answer from him. So let's go to the rating. You can find my rating system in the description. I think it's a little bit different than from other YouTube reviewers. My ratings are completely personal and based on how I feel listening to this music. It's about memories, emotions, and overall the connection to this album. Music is subjective, and that's what makes this conversation so interesting for me. And here is my complete rating breakdown. Every track gets its own score, which together makes up my final rating for this album. Feel free to pause if you want to have a closer look. Now let's see, the final rating for Masta Ace Disposable Arts is an 8. Definitely a must-have for an hip-hop head, or at least a must-know. So let me know how you feel about this album. Do you have any connections? Do you have memories with this? Drop it in the comments, and don't forget to tune in next week when we review our new album of the week, this one. So follow The Lost Element on TikTok, Instagram and YouTube, and let's talk hip-hop.